Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Yeah, 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 yeah. Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Shabba-dabba-doo, baby. What up, what up, what up, what up, everybody? Yo, what up? Just getting started. Give me a second, set things up. Just getting started. Yeah, 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 yeah. We live, y'all. Yeah, it is, Everett. What up, Joetta? Yo, y'all check in, man. What up, our Jizzle? City and state, where y'all at? City and state. City and state. What up, Mary? Mary Lee Jones. Yeah, yeah, y'all. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, y'all. What up? What up? What up? Yeah, are y'all prepared for that, man? Shout out to all my people that are out there in Florida. I'm hoping that y'all are taking care, taking special precautions. Anybody in the South region, I hope y'all are taking precautions. Taking precautions. Taking precautions. What up, Chuck? Yo, to all my people on my lives everywhere. To all my people on my lives everywhere. To all my people on my lives everywhere. Mary Lee says, good morning. I'm going to add you to the broadcast. You see it? You see it, Mary Lee? Look at it right there. Mary Lee is a part of the broadcast. If you're looking on YouTube, yeah. Sonny said, I'm as ready as I can be. That's what's up. Sure, pulling up this weekend. That's what's happening. Good morning, she says. Listen, I know, I'm usually on a little bit earlier, but today, I'm saying we got a late start. But hey, it's a start nonetheless, ain't it? It's all good in the neighborhood. So, yeah, please subscribe. Good morning. Yeah, y'all see what she's saying? Sparkle, welcome to the live.
Yo, bruh.
That's different. Okay. Checking something out. Letitia said, good morning. I was catching up. Benefits of a toxic relationship. I fell asleep before you got back on. That's what's up. Yeah. If any of you missed it last night, we all got to be prepping. Things could pop up anytime, anywhere. True story. Last night, I jumped back on live and we had a great conversation. It was entitled Benefits of a Toxic Relationship. I know a lot of y'all missed that yesterday. We had a nice audience and we had a nice conversation. And it's one of those things, I know, I don't get on very often in the evenings because we're on in the AM. And, I know I'm a little late, but I got my apple cider vinegar drink ready to go as well. I had to wake up and do some things this morning, had an appointment or whatnot. And everything went well. So, and Stephanie's right. Tap the screen. Subscribe if you haven't. I didn't put a live goal, but gifting is open and accepted on all platforms. So I thought I had missed a live. No, I'm here. I'm here, Red. Yeah, what up, Denise? What up, Cozy? So yeah, I got on last night, man, and we chopped it up. Yesterday was a really, really, really dope and productive day conversationally. I think we having the conversation on social digital currency, I think helped and benefited a lot of people. Ironically, I didn't even know this, but because I broadcast on so many networks, like I broadcast on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter from a different camera. My mother was watching. My mother was watching. What up, Trippy? My mother was watching, and she sent me she messaged me and said that she enjoyed the show and she was proud that I was motivating and inspiring and speaking life into so many people. It was kind of trippy. Yeah, I'm live on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Yeah. No, it was super cool. Like I think that's one of the things that we all strive for is to, to make our parents proud. You know what I mean? That has always been something that, that's always been something out there. You know what I mean? Did she hear the I don't know, you know what I'm saying? And that's the other part, you know what I'm saying? So just so y'all know, I'm very mindful, and that's probably why I added the censor button. That's why I added the censor button, so I can kind of say what I need to say, but I don't have to get myself in trouble, you know what I'm saying? Because I respect my mom, and you know what I'm saying? I don't want to yeah, I know, right? Letitia said I was about to cringe. Like, what did your mom hear? You know what I'm saying? So I know she knows I'm an adult. She knows that life is different, you know what I'm saying, for my demographic, and that the conversation is, sometimes you have to speak to the audience that you have in a way that they can really accept and hear what you're saying. So what up, Prince? What up, Brand Love Dove? What's up? Brand Dove. So I don't think about that part of it. You know what I mean? I think she respects me as an adult, and she understands that, if but I'm very cautious of that too. If y'all ever notice, I don't go off the wire with the craziness. You know what I'm saying? Because my mom is watching. What up, Julio? What up, Maisha? Because I'm, and it's funny because I'm finding out, what up, Venus? I'm finding out that not only is my mom watching, but so many other people are watching as well. Which is because Facebook is the family and friends, you know what I'm saying? Like the close family and friends and people that know you from childhood, and then your brothers and sisters' friends and stuff like that. So I am very mindful of what I say and what I don't say in that regard, because, the conversation is, it's out there. Once it's out there, it's out there. And woo, just thinking about that. I can remember, can anybody else do, I don't know I don't know what some of you guys' relationships are like with your parents. But for me, I can remember the first time that a curse word slipped out of my mouth. It's never been, just so y'all understand, I hold my mother in such high regard. It has never been cursing like in a conversation with my mom, like I'm in front of her. I've never cursed in front of my mom. Like never in front of my mother. That is something, I want to always be able to carry with me as a sign of respect. But there was a time where where I slipped up. She was in the dining room and I was in the kitchen. And I remember like it was yesterday, because I felt very sheepish after it happened. You know what I'm saying? I felt very like, you know what I'm saying? No, I don't do that either, Pearl. Pearl said I would not drink alcohol in front of my mom. Yeah, I don't do that either. Like, my mom is an ordained minister, if you didn't know. And she's a survivor, you know what I mean? 2-time cancer survivor. She's one of the most faithful people I know. I know my life is what it is because of what she's instilled in me, but also the covenant that she has over my life with her and her friends, all that pray feverishly over my life. And I know they pray, I got 3 older brothers and I got 1 older sister. And I want to say she probably prays over me more than any of them, because I was the last, you know what I'm saying? And all of my moving around and the way I kind of do things, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a respect thing, you know what I'm saying? I learned very early just to be respectful. But yeah, so I'm in the kitchen and I can't remember what I was talking about. This is in high school. I can't remember what I was talking about, but I said the word SHIT. And and I remember there being dead silence after I said it. And then I was like, I don't know, I can't remember if she said, "What you say?" or if she acknowledged it or whatever. I knew she heard it because it got really, really quiet. And I didn't use it like I was like saying the word like in a manner that was crazy. I said it in a part of a flow of a conversation. And so I got out of there. I didn't walk back through the dining room. I went down in the basement and I waited till I heard her get up from the table and go somewhere else in the house. Because I could not, I felt so sheepish. I was so embarrassed. I was like, oh my God. But that is probably not the worst embarrassment I've ever had with my mom. I'll give y'all one last one and then we'll get to it. So now I'm an adult, you know what I mean? I want to say I want to say I wasn't in college. This is another incident where I was in my last year in high school. And what happened was my mom was in St. Louis. She was getting her master's degree in St. Louis. And I was staying with my brother in our house in Michigan. And she came home. I don't know if it was on a break or whatever. Now, I was wilding out. No, this was after college. I had came back from college. I was wilding out. So just to give y'all a little history, when I came back from college, which is when I had when music was really at the forefront of things, when I was getting into producing and whatnot, I got back to the city, and the city was different. It was kind of lit. Things that were, I was now 22, I think 23. Things were available to me that weren't available before. So I was able to go to the club. And when we first started doing it and started going, I like St. Louis was my spot. I love St. Louis. So as I got back to the city and got into things, musically, things were going great. Like I want to say I was there for about 6 months, man. We had done some amazing things musically. And one of the things that kind of crept up, I talked to y'all about how I got started doing comedy. And it was from the host trying to blaze me. He was roasting me, and I decided to do comedy to roast him back, and it took off. So now, being a part of a group, you know what I mean? What up, DJ Dub? When you're a part of a group, as a singing group, everybody gets their shine, and if you're not the lead singer gets the most shine. So I'm in a situation where I'm probably getting the second most amount of shine. I'm probably getting the second, third amount. But when I started doing comedy, all the focus was on me. And I was really good at it. So when you're good at something, women are attracted to you more. Like when you are a person who could command the microphone and command the stage and whatnot, the energy was crazy. So I had all these girls on me like crazy while doing comedy. You know what I mean? And I was living with my brother. So it was just me and my brother in our house and, a couple of his homies or whatever. So it was always girls at the house. So we was always kicking it. We was always partying, you know what I'm saying? And I always had a chick around, staying the night and the whole nine. So when my mom came back in town and reclaimed her room, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, instead of stopping things and kind of chilling out, I was still living my life because I'm like, I'm grown, she respect, I'm grown, I can do what I want. So, so the girl I was dating at the time, beautiful girl, just a wild buck though. She was a little wild child. My mom is home. Girl comes through to stay the night. She came to stay the night, and in staying the night, we cut the fool. Now I never, ever, 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 ever. I'm telling y'all, this be that point where, this is that point where you feel like you a man. What up, Jamie? Where you feel like you're a grown man. You know what I'm saying? Where you feeling some kind of way, and so I'm banging this girl brains out, not thinking that she being loud or none of that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? And 7 o'clock in the morning comes. I'm sneaking this girl out. Not really sneaking, but we're getting her out of the house real quiet, like. So the girl is outside of the house. So the way my house is set up at this time is when you open the door, you can see all the way up into, like, if you look straight up, you can see the bathroom. But this is steps to go up. So I open the door, let the girl out. I turn around, and my mother is at the top of the steps. She at the top of the steps looking down at me, and she says, straight face and all, she say, don't you ever do that again. The longest day of your life. And then walked off. If you want to talk about, my mom didn't, it was like, I had, if you want to talk about being embarrassed, you talking about like, oh my God, like that was that moment where I didn't know what to do for like 2 weeks. I didn't know how to be around her because up until that time, I was sure my mother thought I was a virgin. I was positive that she thought I was a virgin. Based off of just how I moved, you know what I'm saying? I kept a very discreet and quiet lifestyle. I was what you want to call a cool nerd, meaning I am still that way. I'm super chill, but I'm talented, you know what I'm saying? And I'm informed, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I was hella embarrassed. I was like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? She did that to me one other time. So there's a story about my group, and this is when R. Kelly stole my record, Keep It on the Down Low. So the story goes like this. My brother's in Atlanta. I'm still living in Michigan, but I'm in one of the best singing groups in my city. We're a cappella based, but yeah, it was a lesson trippy, for real. But we're really, really good. So I get a call from my brother. He's like, yo, I just met this dude named Roderick Pate, who was R. Kelly's road manager. And he was like, yo, I told him about y'all. He want to hear y'all. I gave him your number. He's going to call, but y'all need to be together so he can hear y'all sing. So he calls us on the phone, and we sing for him a cappella over the phone. Now, we was good. Like, when I say good, I mean, 2 weeks after we got together, we're walking around Detroit. Mike Huckman, who is now at NBC or something like that. He's at one of the major networks. He was working for the Detroit news station, saw us and asked us, he said, y'all look like a singing group. And we were like, we are. And then he was like, well, can I hear something? And we sang for him. And then he hit us later on and said, you guys are on the news, on the 11 o'clock news tonight. Make sure you tune in. That's how good we were. We were so good that we were opening up for major plays as just the intro act, you know what I'm saying, as an a cappella based group. And so we were moving around a lot of places and performing and giving this we were kind of like Boys to Men. Barbershop, they call it barbershop harmony, when that kind of thing. All going back. So we we sing for Roderick Pate over the phone. He's like, yo, you guys are amazing. Can you guys get to Chicago? And we like, when? He's like, yo, I'll be back. We'll be back by next Thursday. So Chicago, if you know, Michigan and Chicago are kind of close to each other. It's a 4-hour drive, nothing much. So we plan to drive there, and he put us up in what's called, it's the Days Inn on Michigan Ave. If you've ever been downtown Chicago, you've seen it. So we go there, and I was a big flirt. I'm sorry, that was just my MO. And there we get to the hotel, and the girl that's working the receptionist, she fine. She's at the counter, she fine as I don't know what. I chop it up with her. And since we there every day, I see her every day. So we built a little rapport in the short time I was there. The R. Kelly thing came and went or whatever, but her and I stayed in contact. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna come back and see you. So I go back and, I come to Chicago and see her, and we hang out. I might have been in Chicago maybe like 5 days, just spending time with her, and it was amazing. We had a really good time. I get back home, and this is when people had home phones. You know what I'm saying? This is when people had home phones. And I don't know if any of y'all have fell victim to this. It ain't got to be your mom. It could have been your dad or your brother, or your sister. But you can't always hear when somebody else picks up the phone. So I had the phone, and me and her talking, and the girl is reminiscing about the time that we had together. You know what I'm saying? And she chopping it up, and she going in, and she's very descriptive and detailed. And then all of a sudden you hear my mama voice. Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself. Oh man. Trippy said, how did you focus on your career? Man, so that was what it was. So here's the thing, Trippy, right? And here's the thing, a misconception that people don't understand, and this is why musicians and artists are like this. You have to be in the lifestyle in order to write and create about that lifestyle. What do I look like singing about, kicking it and partying and loving on women if I'm not doing those things, right? It's not authentic. Even if I write it for somebody else, the experience that comes from me as I create it has to be authentic. The reason why I could speak to you guys on so many different levels and so many different subjects is because it's authentic. You know what I'm saying? I've experienced a lot of things on a whole bunch of different levels. I started touring and seeing the world when I was 17 years old. I had gotten kicked out of high school for fighting, and I took those 2 weeks and I went on tour. I went and traveled on tour as a dancer on stage with 20, 30,000 people screaming and women reaching for me and the whole nine. Like, the whole thing changed my perspective. Like, so let me tell you, when I left to go on tour, I was clean cut. I promise you, I was good. You know what I'm saying? When I returned, half of my hair was blonde, both of my ears were pierced. It was a whole nother thing. You know what I'm saying? Letitia said, woo, child, I knew that's where this was going when you mentioned home phone. I got busted so many times, those dang house phones. I was the last child caught. I know a lot of people experienced that, but I came back. And this is the thing that I kind of took from all that, is your experiences are supposed to change you. Your experience are supposed to make you grow. What up, Jira? Everybody go buy the Social Digital Currency book. Yeah, that's what's up. Jira gave y'all a message. Everybody go buy the book. I'm trying to think of authentic things I can write about. Maybe moving schools as a kid and having a bad stepfather. That could be doing. You write about your life. Now, it doesn't have to be. Here's the thing about when I write. What up, Cookie? Is that my writing is reflective of my life, but it's not so right in your face. You have to be clever. You have to be authentic, but you got to say things in a way that people will want to hear it. And you got to remember that the details of yours are just as dope as the generality of what you write about. You know what I'm saying? So dive into yourself and your experiences and talk about what you got and gained from it, how you felt when you were feeling it, those different kind of things. But my experiences started before that, but as a part of growing, that's what's the fabric of my life. That's the fabric of who I am. Each one of you have gone through things, and I chose to always take the positive in and out of these situations. Like, I realized that there are one or two ways you can rock with stuff. Well, a couple ways, but the ones that matter the most is you either gonna be thriving because you took the perspective of, I'm gonna make good out of this, I'm gonna make lemonade out of these lemons, or you're gonna say, you're gonna be a person who complains and say these lemonades taste nasty, you know what I'm saying? Or you say, or you'll say, you'll be sad about it, you know what I'm saying? So you gotta take the positive, interject that into the world. One thing that the world all needs is love. You know what I mean? Is love. So you can always talk about love. You could talk about the absence of it. You could talk about the possession of it, losing it, gaining it, those kind of things. So all of this conversation that I have on this live is always about love, though. You know what I'm saying? Red Baby says, I'm definitely buying your book. Learned so much yesterday. Yeah, that's what's up. I tried to prop it up back here so y'all could see it, but I tried to prop it up. You know how some of those lives, and let me switch this around. I'm glad y'all said that. Y'all know how some of them shows be like, they have it propped up somewhere where it's always in the back. Like, if you go to the Breakfast Club, you can see Charlamagne the God's book in the back. You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't find a place to put it where y'all could see it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way to put it. I guess I could put it up there on the record player or something like that, maybe. I don't know. But I thought about that as well. Like, it should be somewhere representing the room, a floating shelf. Yeah, maybe above that or something. I don't know. But yeah, so fast forward to moving to Atlanta, building a friendship and a kinship with my homeboy Usher, and then Usher saying, "Listen, man, we out." You know what I mean? We out. I'm one of my biggest record, you know what I'm saying, which is when he came out with Confessions, he was like, yo, y'all, we finna hit the road, we out. Having Usher as a friend and confidant, and then traveling the world at the next level. When I say that to y'all, I mean, when you travel with one of the best performers in the game at the pinnacle of one of their releases or whatnot, and you're the homie, you're like the brother, you know what I'm saying? Then there is a whole that's when you saw me the most. Yeah, even at the concerts, for sure, Ush. That there's a whole different thing that goes with that. You know what I'm saying? There's a whole different. I got introduced to a whole level of business, a whole different level of conversation, all that kind of stuff. So when I got off tour with Usher, I told all my family and friends, I said, please don't expect me to be the same. I am a regurgitator of what I consume. Your mind should work like your body. You should take in as much positivity and good things that you can, expel those things that don't serve you, and then move in that way. That's how you should move. You should take the positive so that you can grow, and anything that doesn't serve you in your growth, get rid of it. And you don't have to do like I did. You don't have to put people on notice. I did because I didn't want what I got in high school. And this is why I did this. When I went on tour in high school and I came back, everybody was clowning me because not only was my hair different, not only were there certain physical things about me that was different, and clothing that I had bought while I was on the road that you couldn't buy where I was from that was dope as I don't know what, but my attitude had changed. Now, everything about going live and having this conversation with y'all, whether it's Apple Cider Vinegar, whether it's social digital currency, whether it's motivational or inspirational, it's about a mindset change. You should always be open and ready to shift your mindset from something that, you know what, one of those statements that people say that used to bother me, and it's more prominent in the black community than anywhere else. I've always heard somebody say to me, well, that's just how I was raised. That's just how I was raised. I'm sure y'all heard somebody say that to y'all too when talking about their negative experience or negative way of thinking or this or something negative. That's just how I was raised, or something that they do that's negative. That's just how I was raised. I heard that so much and I just thought about it for a while, and it made me say back to them, that don't make it right. Like, people would continuously do things based off of how they was raised, and I'm like, yo, that don't make it right. That just make it what you did. What up, Great White Hot Sauce? It just makes it what you did. So now you have to be open-minded to adjust, or you're going to, if you always do what you always done, you'll always get what you always got. I remember this. This is something that is instilled in my thoughts. If you always do what you always done, you'll always get what you always got. I know. Y'all can say it makes sense. Absolutely, it does. It just makes sense. So how in the world can we grow? How in the world can we change? How in the world can we affect things differently than we have in the past if we don't take that as our moniker? Like, if we don't own that, if you always do what you always done, you'll always get what you always got. If we don't own that and then start shifting, we're going to always be what we always have been. And for most people, that type of repetition is it's unhealthy first and foremost, but you're going to complain more because things aren't changing and you're not looking at your involvement in the situation. I'll say it one more time, Ush, so you can write it. She said she wrote it down. You all can write this down. And I got something dope I'm trying to put together. I'm trying to put something dope together for y'all where it's I'm going to start. Some of my favorite quotes I have in my phone, I'm going to start posting them so y'all can have them. Those are going to be my posts that I put on my page. I'm going to post the post, but I'm going to say it so y'all can consume it, because sometimes y'all just need to hear somebody say it. Y'all read some of these memes and all those kind of things, and it goes in your head and out of your head, but you need to repeat it. If you always do what you always done, you'll always get what you always got. Hey, Ara, I think I'm going out tonight. Red Martini, Atlanta, Buckhead. Boom. There it is. Good morning, sweetness. That's something that y'all need to there needs to be somewhere around your house, and you need to repeat it. And I'm trying to put something together where y'all have these things, because we say a lot of them. What up, Prince? I say a lot of these things that really you should own. That's one of them. If you always do what you always done, you'll always get what you always got. You can share that with your kids growing up and anybody else who needs to hear it. But you also need to take into stock another one. It only takes 1 second to get in trouble. Tashi. It only takes 1 second to get in trouble, but it could take your life or a lifetime to get out of it. That was such a huge thing for me growing up to remember, is that it only takes 1 second to get in trouble, but it could take your life or a lifetime to get out of it. You all know somebody who did something in a split second that is affecting them even to this day. So that's something that I want y'all to take into consideration. Okay, cool. Shannon, I just saw that. Okay, cool. That's one of those things. But it's real, Brown. Like you can't shoot the message for the messenger. You know what I'm saying? You got to tell your boys one bad decision can affect your entire life. But it's easier to say it, LaTanya, when you say it only takes 1 second. That means they start thinking about their life in the seconds, because the seconds matter. Every second matters, because 1 second doing something wrong, just 1 second, can make an ultimate difference. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't. So I leave. One bad decision is a great quote as well. But when you break it down to 1 second, when you realize the power of a second, when you realize that your life. Listen, the guy who won the lotto, he won $997 million the other day. 1 second, meaning that 1 second when that lady drew out that last ball and it had his number on it, is changing his life forever. Now, for all you other people that played the lotto, we all financed a billionaire if you played any numbers during this 40, I think what they said, 40 drawing run. It was 40 drawings to get it over to the highest jackpot ever, which is $2 billion and something. Now, I do want to, I'm probably going to make a, thank you, Sweetness. I think I'm gonna do a post for him, because this is what, the conversation becomes this. In California, which really, really sucks, in California, you have to divulge your name and likeness when you win. He has 1 year to claim his winnings, but he has to say who he is. Do y'all know how horrible that is? Do you know how horrible it is to have won that amount of money and then you got to go in front of people and say, hey, I'm the new rich guy, family, friends, strangers. I'm the one now that you can actually see. Most billionaires you don't even get to see. Thank you, moms. Most billionaires they could walk right by you, wouldn't even know it. But let me tell you, yep, that's awful. He need to be gone when he claims it. Well, I got something better for him. I got a whole way to get him sorted out. I look at it, if God wanted me to win $1 billion, I would have had it. No sweating. I'm cool. No, not from that perspective, Pearl. But what I'm saying is this. My message to him is, if your name has to be out there, I don't think his picture has to be out there. I think he has to divulge his name. He has a year. Just go change your name. Just go change your name. And that goes to speak to, as you're making your adjustments, you don't have to go as far as changing your name, but you do have to change your position. And it's okay that you announce it to your friends. They're either going to be naysayers or accountability partners. You know what I'm saying? But you're going to have to go through, you got to be so diligent about it, Tashi, that you're going to have to find a trail, and then it's your people that have to do the due diligence. No one has to know that you have this amount of money. You don't have to change anything. And if you're waiting 2 months before you claim it and you've changed your name, your family going to think nothing of it. They're going to be like, why would we ever assume that he won the money when they're still waiting on the person to come forward? As long as they don't have to show your face, you're good. But when you're dealing with your family and friends, you should put them up on notice to certain things if you're going to have an attitude adjustment. A lot of times we just change and then they be like, oh, now he acting funny all of a sudden, and they doing all, and that's cool too, because people going to talk regardless. But at some point, you're going to want the relief of just saying, hey, man, I don't eat red meat anymore. Please stop bringing that to the cookouts. Please stop bringing that around me. Please stop offering me that. Because sometimes you just don't need the temptation nor the headache or the disrespect. My friends don't offer me nothing to smoke because they know I don't smoke. They don't know I don't smoke. I don't smoke at all. And I don't smoke nothing. I don't smoke nothing. No, he got to divulge it. Yeah, he got to divulge that. I don't know what high amount. This is the highest amount there ever been, Pearl, and he has to divulge it. There was a story of a kid here, man, which is so unfortunate that he won $450,000. I think it was $450,000, and they announced who he was, and some people that knew him went to his house and they killed him because he would not give them the money. And I think the girl set him up. It was horrible. But in those instances, you do have to kind of put it out there that you're doing something different so that people can get off you. You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk. Y'all want to shake some of these haters off, and you want to and shake some people out of your system because they just need to know. Oh, you smoke? My dude, listen, we're not doing that over here. Don't smoke. You can't smoke in the studio, so I don't know when you're gonna be smoking, because I don't smoke and I don't like it around me. There's an instance, I was in New York and I was working at the Battery Studios. I was working on a popular female group, and things were going fine until their weed man came through. And he didn't come into the area that I was in. He went into the lounge. They went to the lounge. They left the session a little bit, went and smoked. When they came back, they had the goofiest vocals ever, and it was just challenging to get the song done. Then they came in the room where I was at. They didn't bring him yet. They came, and it was cool. That I thought this was very respectful. They said, "Hey, Scrap, is it cool if we let such and such come in the room?" I was like, "Your weed man?" And they was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Nah, I can't do that." And they was like, "Why?" I was like, "Listen, I'm responsible for delivering this smash record on y'all, and I don't want the energy in here to change because I'm looking over my shoulder and I have a stranger in the midst. I need nothing but the good energy folks that I rock with to be around me, and I surround myself with nothing but the positive energy. I don't know him, and I just don't think I don't want my mindset to shift and change the outcome of this record." Now they took offense to that, and it was like, "Oh, so you gonna so." They said their name. They start talking in third person. It's like, "Oh, so blah 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 can't have who they want come in their session and da da da." I said, "No." I said, "That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you can have whoever you want come in your session. You just call me and let me know when they're gone. I'll come back from the hotel. But I'm not going to participate in sacrificing y'all records and the energy surrounding your record because of, bringing this guy into the session." Like, a lot of times we hear people talk about, "Yo, man, you got to protect your energy and your frequency." Well, yeah, that costs something. It's going to cost some of your relationships. When we talk about taking back our neighborhoods and our communities, it's going to cost something. Why? Because those kids were raised in that community. Some of those kids live in that community, and they got to be, managed differently. And nobody wants to manage their neighbor's kid, even though the neighbor knows their kids is screwing up. Yeah, I'm looking out for them, and that's what we have to do as a community. And sometimes it comes with that conversation, Sweetness. People don't want to have the realest conversations to change their situation. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was just getting me straight. It was like, listen, I can't participate in the demise of my creation. This is what I feel like, and I'll spin it all the way back to the conversation we had about Kanye talking about, we chose to be slaves. You can't participate in your own demise. At some point, you got to stand up, and the consequences can be painful. But at some point, how long are you going to complain about something without making an adjustment? Yeah, you cool and comfortable now, but for the life that you want, you're going to have to break some cycles. You're going to have to leave some people behind. You got to put some people to the side. You got to not pick up the phone call all the time. You got to tell people no. No is one of the most powerful tools you have for your peace and serenity. I know a lot of you don't use it correctly, and you don't use it as often as you should, but you're going to have to start practicing the word no when it comes to being there for everybody and leaving yourself second. We have a problem with doing that. Yeah, you got to get yourself in a position where you're comfortable with using the word no. Hey man, can you? No, I'm sorry. And you ain't gotta explain it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to regurgitate why. My no is solid all by itself. That's it. I am okay, and you should, and this is what you really want. You want people to wrap their head around being comfortable with hearing you say no and not saying why. What do you mean why? What up, Quest? You have a good one too, bro. All I'm saying is be comfortable with saying no. And without having to say why. What up, Teresa? You only have to tell them that, Latanya. Latanya said, yep, definitely. I tell people no now because they be wasting my time. Time shouldn't be wasted. True story. Chuck D said, the easiest and the hardest thing to do is say no. Exactly. And it's hard because we love people. We like people. We want people to succeed, but it costs too much. It costs too much sometimes. And we don't even know the cost when going into it. I realized just recently, I loaned somebody, I did a service for somebody, and their promise to pay has now been over a month and a half. And so at one point I was calling, like a bill collector. I was calling trying to get to, just settle up. But now I'm not going to call. And this is like, I'm giving y'all a couple things that just mindset shifts. Instead of calling, I'm never going to call again. And now I get an opportunity to adjust our relationship to exactly how I want it. Yes, I know it's hard to say no to kids, but you need to get them wrapped around that when your parent says no, it doesn't require an explanation. I don't have to have a reason why I'm saying no. You have to have trust that the reason why I'm saying no is beneficial to you and to me. No is such a beneficial word for others is because it requires them to check themselves and check their own resources. When someone asks you for, that's right, no is a complete sentence. That's beautiful. I think that's something that needs to be shared globally. No is a complete sentence. I don't have to add anything to it. And there's nothing to take away from it other than the answer being no. No. What up, Haley? That no, I'm not going to do this. And what no does, it establishes trust. It establishes respect. And they will look at you differently, and they will manage how their relationship with you. They'll understand it. When you say no, now is the opportunity for them to show up for themselves. I've had to tell people no before, and out of miraculously, they turn my no into a yes somewhere else. Do y'all get it? Sometimes when we say yes, we become a crutch for people. We think we're helping, but we're hurting. You have to change that mindset. What up, Kira? We have to change the mindset of saying yes to everybody, because sometimes they need to hear a hard no so that they can go out and do their thing. Everett said, my mom saved my life by saying no. I should be dead. Boom. There you go. I'm going to tell y'all the hardest time I had saying no. And it still pulls on me every now and again. What up, Lawrence? So one of my homeboys, Kira, you got to get back to Atlanta. But anyway, one of my homeboys was staying with me, right? And I've looked out for this. I looked out for this kid ever since we met. Like, he's a member of my singing group. I've always looked out for him. What up, Vegan Knowledge? And he was staying with me at one point. Now, at this point, I probably got a lump sum of money in, and I was like, I was going to invest into the situation. So I invested my money into something, and it was going out the door really quickly. I was spending a lot of it to the point where I was like, oh, snap. Let me mitigate the damages by, if you're going to stay with me, homie, I ain't taking care of no grown men. I need you to get a job. You know what I'm saying? Just to manage, even if your job only pays for food or something like that, I got everything else covered, but I'm spending money on this project that I wanted to invest in, and it's not returning on this investment just yet. So in the interim of it, I want to stop some of the bleeding to where I don't have to keep spending all this money. So the homie was like, okay, cool. And I was like, great, we're on the right page. This is going to balance out. He goes and gets a job. Well, he gets hired for a job, and then he quits. And I was shook, because I was like, bro, you don't have the fortitude right now to, you're not in a position, not to say it any other way, but you're not in a position to quit. How can you quit when you got to be working? You know what I'm saying? How can you quit when I'm spending like this, when my resources are dwindling, how can you quit? And I just said, hey man, you got 2 weeks to find another job, or you gotta go. Now this is somebody I love him. It's still my brother to this day. Love him to death. Love him to life. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yo, you gotta get a job or you gotta go. And I don't know I can't even remember if he tried or if he didn't take me seriously. But let me tell y'all, one of the hardest things to ever have to do is tell one of your friends they got to get out. And it was ridiculously hard. When I tell y'all it was hard, it was like the only cool thing was this. So in the time that he was staying with me and things was lit, he met a girl, she was visiting from like the Netherlands or something like that. Met a girl. One of the things that went crazy with it was he was banging her brains out and she got pregnant. Now he didn't know she was pregnant until she got back over there. After that, he started dating another girl, and when I told him he had to go, he went and stayed with this other girl. But I think she only let him stay for, I think she had parameters too or whatever. So one day, I had to take him his mail, and he wasn't staying with the girl. He told me to meet him at the Waffle House. And so I drove over to this Waffle House, and I'm telling you, it's the most gut-wrenching feeling I've ever had in my life. I saw him looking disheveled. He had like a sty in his eye where he might have gotten into a fight with somebody. It was just bad, man. I just felt sick to my stomach, and I was like, but I knew that ultimately I had made the right decision. You know what I'm saying? It just felt horrible seeing him in that way. And now we fast forwarded to today. He's in the Netherlands. He's got 4 boys, 3 or 4 boys. 2 of them are ridiculous basketball players. He owns a restaurant over there, and he's an amazing cook. Like that was why the deal was with food. He's an amazing cook. He's probably he was the best chicken cordon bleu I've ever had. Like he made the best chicken cordon bleu. It was ridiculous. And Trippy said, how did he do it? Well, here's the thing. And this is why I tell you sometimes your no could be the greatest yes for people in their lives, is that when you say no, you give a person an urgency that isn't there when you say yes. Yes is a word of relief. You say yes to somebody, whew, thank gosh, man, I appreciate it, man. That's what you get. You say no, they say, man, I got to figure this out. Wait, I got to dig deeper than I've ever dealt with myself. So you have to manage that. And you have to, he changed his mindset. Boom, drop the mic, Trippy. That's exactly, no, it wasn't hitting rock bottom yet as much as it was. Listen, people hit rock bottom all the time. Some people still at rock bottom. Why? Because they have not decided to change their mindset. You have to change your mindset. All we ever talk about on this live is just changing your mindset, tweaking it a little bit. I can't tell you the path he took. I know what ended up happening was he managed to get and save enough money to go overseas to be with his family. After being over there, I'm sure a black man in like the Netherlands who can cook, those things go over real good in other countries where we are, as much as people want to say that we, people don't like us and all that kind of stuff. There is a certain power that we have when you live in the stereotype, you know what I'm saying, of sports and entertainment and food and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Exactly, Ush. That some people just are okay or living in that misery, and that's why you got to have you got to be open and available for a mindset shift. I didn't know he would have that in him. I just knew that I wasn't going to be a facilitator of his demise. I knew look, man, you got to go be strong. For everybody on this live, there's a time where you got to show up for yourself more so than other people have shown up for you. Too many times we're waiting for somebody to say yes. In this music business, I've been told no so many times that you think I should have quit. But I know that the yes is right around the corner, and I know I'm capable of getting yeses. That's what my success has taught me, is that, you're a yes dude. Like, you somebody that people want to say yes to based off of your creativity and what you offer and how you say it and your perspective. All I have to do is present more opportunities for people to say yes. And when they tell me no, I really just can accept the no and say, I'm going to go back and I'm going to go harder than I went the last time. And to some degree, Sweetness, it is a sink or swim situation, right? It's a survive or die, right? And we all want to survive, but even with the mindset shift, it becomes more than just surviving. So for those people who right now, there are people who are legitimately working at their jobs and they're just surviving. What up, Hendrix? They're just surviving. There are people who look like they're doing very well out here for themselves and they're just surviving. And the reason is because they're not changing their mindset to say, surviving isn't enough. I want to thrive. I want to thrive. I want to thrive. Y'all have to say that to yourselves and I'm a big believer in posting things where you can see it. Thriving is different than surviving. We're all surviving. You know how I love the lyric that Drake said in one of his songs. He said, everybody dies, but not everybody lives. You know what I mean? Trippy said, that's what I need to do. Well, I have gotten better at accepting no. Sometimes no still leaves negativity, but lately I've been taking no as ways I need to improve. That's exactly what it is. But I love that. He says, everybody dies, but not everybody lives. We talked about this yesterday, man. We talked about this last night. Have fun in everything you do. Live. If you get an opportunity to bump your ticket up to business class or first class, man, do that. Especially if you're going on a long trip and you're going somewhere you've never been before, do that. Some point in your life, you got to get you the penthouse suite. Sometime, someplace, somewhere, you're gonna have to get you a nice, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. It's at some point you have to decide to live more than the ultimate outcome. You know what I'm saying? That's right. You could be 30 years old and have not lived. I know people, man, it's unfortunate that I know people that had never left the city of Flint, have never traveled outside of the state of Michigan. It's unbelievable when I think about it because I've traveled everywhere and I understand, like, I know why I'm enriched. I know that I'm enriched because of it. I know that being around these other nationalities in these other places, watching how other people live, riding and driving on the opposite side of the road, seeing some of these iconic things that I read about in books like the Sydney Opera House, the harbor in Australia, the Sistine Chapel in Rome, Big Ben in London, and traveling all these different places and seeing old San Juan and all these different things enrich you. 50-year-old dudes who never left Baltimore. Listen, those no's should lead you to find the yeses in your life that are at the next level and then level up even more. If you haven't been told no, then you, and we know people like this. We call them spoiled. You know what I'm saying? We know people who get yeses all the time, and they can't function as well as people who've had the adversities of the no's. Life should be you challenging those no's and finding it within yourself the ability to overcome things. For real, now maybe that is Western culture definition of thrive, but honestly, to live in society, having more wealth inside of you, it helps you out living a more comfortable life. Yeah, I mean, push the boundaries of your comfort, and then you start realizing, like, yo, I never knew. So, like I said, prior to touring, prior to being around us, like close in proximity, prior to being around millionaires and billionaires, I'd have no idea the different levels of comfort that were out there. Hell, some people don't even know the difference between the thread sheet count that makes comfort, even in your sleep, something different. You know what I'm saying? Some people have only laid on one type of mattress. They've never laid on a therapeutic. They've never laid on one of these really expensive mattresses and understood the difference. This is simple as it gets. I'm just giving y'all the simple stuff. You know what I'm saying? Haven't worn shoes that were truly comfortable. I'm just saying there are little adjustments you can make to up. You know, some people don't go and eat a really good meal. Life, you should be having the time of your life, living it, doing things that push the boundaries of where you were already at previously. If you have a vehicle, travel, drive, get in the car, go somewhere. If you don't, get on the bus. Get on a bus and go see the countryside. Look out the window while you rolling and enjoy that. You know what I'm saying? I love that name, Traveling Diva. Lori, that name is powerful. To me, when I read your name, Traveling Diva, that means she likes to travel first and foremost, but she likes to do it at a level that is above everybody else's because she's a diva. So it has to be done up big. My dad said, never wear cheap shoes. Your feet is everything. True story. It's the look, your feet you use more than most of your body parts, but it's the one that's gonna get you there. It's gonna get you where you're going. I love that. That was it, Traveling? She said, exactly, that's me. Yeah. So even when you say her name, you speak life into her and her endeavors and what she wants to do. But you all should be a walking billboard for the kind of success that you want. They won't. That's exactly right, Ush. I believe that everyone will just not get to experience those things because of mindset. That's it. That's it. It's Alexa, show me front door. Who's at my front door? Y'all bear with me 1 second. Hold on. Somebody's at my front door. All right. Instagram, hold on for me 1 second. Let's see who's at my front door. If I can catch him. Yep. Yeah. Okay. I'll be there in a second. You here for the refrigerator? Are you here about the refrigerator? Okay. Okay. Coming. Y'all bear with me 1 second. I forgot the dude was coming to check out this refrigerator. I'm gonna give y'all some music in the meantime, in between time. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna end the live right now, and I'm gonna come back on a little bit later. Let me manage that real quick, and I'll speak to y'all soon. Let me handle this. I don't know how long he's gonna be, and I don't want to keep y'all waiting. I'll be back. All right. I'll be back, y'all.